Welcome everybody to another happy podcast, new podcast with a wonderful name taken from our favorite boy Obi-Wan Kenobi. So you might have some ideas what we're gonna talk about today, cause something big came out, something all of us Star Wars nerds were looking after for a few
We're
years.
gonna talk about Star Wars detours.
Star Wars detours. Yeah, exactly. What a wonderful. Yeah, no, we're gonna obviously talk about Kenobi.
No,
I thought,
no.
I thought we were here to talk about fucking Star Wars Resistance. Why the
Yeah,
what?
we're going over every
Two
episode
people
of
who watch
Resistance.
Every
The only two people, the only three people who watch that show.
resistance. Oh God.
No.
But yeah,
Hear about Kenobi.
I feel like on other platforms and on other shows, the three of us specifically have talked about Kenobi like so much, the possibility of a movie, series, whatever. And it's finally here, guys. Like after years and years of asking for it, years of theorizing, like it's kind of still surreal that it's actually happening.
Yeah, totally. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, this is something the fans want, but Disney's not actually gonna do because
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor must be really expensive, and I think his casting is probably taking a big part of the budget for the episodes.
Yeah, yeah. Like, even if he is taking a big budget, the cast is still stacked. Like when they announced the cast, like I was very excited. The I think Deborah Chow was an awesome choice as to direct the show or to be the showrunner. Yeah, like the build up to this was super exciting. Kind of before the show started, Perkin, what did you think of it? Like the build up?
Trailers. Okay. At first, intrigued. I liked the Kenobi Legends novel that was kind of based a few months, I believe, after Avengers, maybe a year. I liked that. I thought it was okay. I knew the show probably wasn't going to go that direction, and obviously when we started hearing about the fact that Vader was going to be in it and there was going to be some sort of duel, I instantly kind of had a bit more of a negative thought. I mean, I don't hate everything Disney does. I mean, I like the new films. I wasn't a big fan of Rise of Skywalker, but I won't go into that. I like Solo, but some of that kind of fan stuff can be sometimes a little. It used to really grind me down, but I think I've come to this kind of realization that it's just kids' films, and having the fan stuff is just fun. So I was, and we're going to talk about it in a bit. But after I believe episode 3, I'm much more accepting of this kind of confrontation between Vader and Obi-Wan. I'll go into this a bit later, but my worry was, will this line up with A New Hope? And so far, I'm thinking it does. And that was my biggest concern. But at the same time, it shouldn't really matter. That was like a 40-year-old film now. They should tell groundbreaking stories since we've had the prequels. They should have their chance to tell a story that relies on the kind of prequel relationship. So I'm fine with the direction so far, and yeah, I was kind of hooked after seeing the trailers. I was like, okay, I'm in on it.
Yeah, like it really wasn't like I was looking forward to it, but it really didn't hit me until the first day of Celebration when they had Ewan and Hayden on the panel and they were talking about it, and it kind of just hit me like, oh, this is like actually happening. Like it was the first time in a while I got so excited for Star Wars, and because really like content wise, yeah, like Mando season 2 was really fun. Book of Boba Fett I think was like really good. I think it's underrated in some ways, but nothing really like grasped me. Like nothing gave me that like Force Awakens 2015 feeling. But Kenobi did in that last minute there, and I got really excited for it. And I think like Pilot, I think you felt the same like that like week because we were talking about it the whole week. Of course, the build up to that first episode.
My whole excitement was really about seeing Ewan McGregor and Aiden Christensen together because they have such a good chemistry, and you could see that in the interviews also before. It's like a redeeming show for them because
Yeah.
they've taken so much shit back in 2005 and all the previous Star Wars movies for, the critic hating on the prequel. Of course, these movies have some very obvious flaws, but they are great for the audience they were made for. I mean, for kids, they are amazing movies, and yeah, I was waiting for this, and I'm really happy Disney has been embracing the prequel era and just kind of mixing the two universes together, a bit of the prequel and a bit of the original trilogy. And we can see that in the beginning, the first scene of the show, which I'm playing right now on the stream, where we got all the Jedi training and Order 66 just popping up. I mean, just seeing the clones for the first time, not in CG, in actual armor, they look good. They look real, and that's
it's weird. It's weird because like we all saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters, and for a lot of us it was like either the last or the only Star Wars movie we'd see in theaters, and to kind of have like a sequel to that, I think really means a lot to like this generation of Star Wars. Like, it's weird now, like we're kind of hitting this era where it's going to be nostalgic for us. Like, the sequel trilogy was of course nostalgic, especially Force Awakens was nostalgic for the people who watched the original trilogy, and now they've like entered like a whole new generation, and it's weird that like I have nostalgia for that, and even if the quality of movies aren't as good as maybe the original trilogy, like it's still something like you have fond memories over. And that whole sequence was interesting to see. And as we and then the whole jump to like 10 years later, like I'm glad it's not right after Revenge of the Sith. We're kind of like in the middle.
Exactly. And just seeing the whole Jedi Temple, all the Jedi fightings, just seeing other shots of Order 66. I think it's a great way to start the show and put us in the bath to how Kenobi is feeling being hunted and everything. I'm sure the black little youngling at the beginning is Reva. I don't know why they wouldn't do that, because the opening shot is with her.
I didn't even think of that.
It's the first character we actually see on camera.
So we're going straight into episode 1? Just going straight into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yep.
I agree. I think Disney has been kind of, when they first got the rights, they believed that everyone just hated the prequels, and don't get me wrong, I don't like this kind of fandom menace where only 6 films exist and all this kind of mindset they have. But it is obvious that people like the prequels. I like the prequels.
Only Star Wars detours exist.
Only Star Wars detours. Episode 1 opens in the most iconic location. I'm joking. Order 66 in the Jedi Temple. I actually thought, are we going to see Anakin? I get the feeling they're going to do another flashback, and I do feel they're going to establish that one of those young ones is the third sister, and she's going to see Anakin. I feel like she's going to see visually Anakin. So we are going to see. I think we're going to see Hayden probably slaughtering.
Yeah, I think
Jedi.
we're gonna get more flashbacks.
You wouldn't just do one without doing it.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, that's too weird if you did.
Especially they made those clones like practical and everything. Like they built sets. Yeah.
You're not going to use it once for like a 50-second scene.
What did you think of the intro to Kenobi? Like we see him, and major spoilers ahead. I don't know why you would click on this video not expecting us to talk about spoilers, but spoilers. We see him on this like kind of like working this food conveyor belt thing, and it's just like that pan, and like the music hits, and I'm like, we're here. We finally did it. We got our Kenobi show.
I'm surprised. Oh no, sorry. You go ahead, pilot first.
Yeah, okay. I think it was cute and quirky. Seeing he's just doing a regular job to make a living, just salvaging some meat from some sand whale or something. It's it's not
And
really.
their pay is like a portion of the meat, I think.
No, they actually get a little bit of credits from the
Okay.
You
distrib.
get credit. You was just able to take some home with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he sneaks some home, and I think it's like it's cute that Kenobi has to resolve the crime to survive because he has no other choice.
I love the little
Well,
scenes where he wants to like. I like the little scene where he wants to help that person that's getting picked on by the boss or whatever, and
He couldn't.
he's got to stay hidden.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, it could have been, he could be working at Watto's or Space Home Depot, but he's not. So, but no, I feel like we're definitely seeing Obi-Wan as completely broken and shattered at this point because it has been 10 years. I mean, it's like I
Yeah.
think he's given up. I mean, he's just everything to him is just Luke. Like he doesn't see any other hope in any chance.
Well, at this point, he also thinks Anakin is dead, so it's so there's all hope lost in him. Like he thought he had to kill his best friend.
And I think some people may be angry with that in a sense, because in the Legends timeline, he was still a noble, helpful person in all this, but it's like, I much prefer this, it's more realistic.
Yeah.
It's like, I know, Luke lost his way too. It's kind of mirroring how Luke lost his way. It's like, these people aren't perfect.
No,
they're just human.
Exactly. It makes them very human, and also give a chance for character development, because if Kenobi was just OP at the start of the show, you don't really see a growth or, an arc. It's just, oh, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi from the prequel. I'm fucking badass. But no, we see him struggle. We see him having a hard time reaching to the Force because obviously he hasn't done these things for years upon years now, and he's kind of giving up on being a Jedi, except maybe communicating with Qui-Gon.
And his only hope is Luke. Which Owen, which we see Joel Edgerton come back in the role, which is awesome. He's really not letting him help Luke at all. Owen's like, he just like your father, and just like his father, and I'm glad we see that dynamic. Because in a lot of ways, Owen is correct. Everything, because he knows what happened to Anakin in that, I assume. And yeah, because when you see Owen's side, like, it just makes perfect sense, like why he would think that. But we still see the good in Owen though, because the Inquisitors show up, which is a callback to Rebels, which is really nice. And when the Inquisitors question Owen, he doesn't rat out Kenobi at all. Like, we still see the good in people on Tatooine. I hope we see more of that Tatooine village. I want to see more of like them help Jedi in that. Like, I really like that dynamic, and we only got a little snippet of it.
Yeah, I mean, they did that too in Episode 3 with the Jedi Railway movement.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I like that some people in the galaxy, they didn't forget the Jedi and what they did and what they were. And are still willing to give their life for them. It's beautiful. Really enjoying it. So yeah, let's talk about Inquisitors. What was your stuff about the big boys?
Let's get the first thing out of the way. The Grand Inquisitor wasn't as bad as I expected because the costume is not as good as we've. Even Revenge of the Sith, a film 20 years ago.
So. Is this a different Inquisitor than the one from
No, it is the Grand Inquisitor still.
I'm pretty sure it's the same. He looks the same.
It's the Grand.
So
he said he's the Grand Inquisitor, and in canon, there's only ever been one, and it's him. So, like, it was said he is the Grand Inquisitor, like in Episode 3, because they go, "Oh, that seat is for the Grand Inquisitor," and all this. So
not to skip ahead, but doesn't he live in Rebels? Doesn't Rebels take place later?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's 5 years later.
I think 3 years later?
Yeah, 5 years later.
5 years later, yeah. He lived bit.
I was like thinking of that, so I'm like, is it not the same Inquisitor? I was so confused.
Yeah,
I think. Oh, sorry. I was just going to quote Star Wars Explained. They put it the best. I know we're skipping ahead a little bit, but so he gets stabbed, and the audience meant to believe that he's been killed. Star Wars Explained put it best. The show probably isn't just going to say about it because they can at least say in some odd canon bit, "Oh no, he's in a Bacta tank somewhere," and so
Yeah.
new audiences get the idea that the stakes on the line for the third sister. So her stakes on the line in the sense of she wants to get the throne, and
Yeah.
audiences believe, well, he's dead. Whereas with canon people, because they don't need to specify it, and as we know with fucking Star Wars, whenever someone dies, they never actually stay dead.
Too angry to die.
Too angry to die.
He's
Yeah.
probably in a Bacta tank somewhere.
I gotta say, I love his costume, but the makeup could have been better, of course.
Oh yeah, the costume's good. The makeup, yeah.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
So
Oh, true.
the series
True, yeah.
isn't over yet, but it could still happen. When the Inquisitors were jumping over the rooftops or whatever, or when she was, perfect opportunity to do the helicopter lightsaber. Do it.
No,
You
no,
cowards.
No.
Do it.
no. So
It's gonna happen.
if people don't know what we are referring to, we're referring to Rebel episode, season 2 finale, I think, where the Inquisitor are on Malachor and they use their lightsabers to fly. Because they're spinning them like helicopter blades. I know it's a science fiction show. This makes absolutely no sense. I just thought it was always silly, but maybe they'll do it. Maybe they'll be able to.
To bring it back to episode 1, so in what I didn't expect, we kind of take a shift in the show, and we go to a different planet. We see Alderaan. What did we think about that?
I was baffled. I didn't expect that at fucking all.
They didn't show in any trailers. They
No.
never showed it in any trailers. So
They
good
did
surprise for once.
They kind of did the Grogu thing where we didn't see Grogu throughout the first Mandalorian trailers, and which I really like. Like, I hope they continue this marketing, this Force Awakens like marketing, where it's don't show too much. Like, people are already gonna watch it, so why reveal everything?
Yes.
Exactly.
It's like Rise of Skywalker already showed us the Emperor. And it's like, imagine if he was actually a surprise. He would have been better if it was a surprise. So I feel like Disney are going to realize, we need to actually surprise the audiences with major characters, or else they're just going to be jarring. And I don't know. Alderaan was cool to see. It's good to see Bail again. It's good to see we're seeing Luke's life, and then we're seeing Leia's life. I'm liking this as sort of a focus on Leia. I mean, Luke, even though obviously Leia was a major character in the original trilogy, we saw more of Luke, I think, in the original trilogy. He had more character development story. So it's nice to give Leia something a little bit, because everything's always been around Luke, protecting Luke. A lot of the Star Wars material, we had Rebels, where we saw Obi-Wan, and he's like looking over Luke. So we've always had this idea of, Obi-Wan looking over Luke, but now we're getting this contrast of him now needing to look after the other sibling. I think that's really creative. Like, they could have just easily put, I don't know, they could have recanoned Maul's death to Maul, that stupid comic where Corwin shoots him. They could have just done that kind of story, and I think we had the idea that it would be crazy Mace Windu.
Crazy Mace Windu still might show up.
I want it.
I'm not completely voting it out.
Me neither.
I want that. I want Mace Windu to see the errors of his way, because a lot of what happened to Anakin was because Mace Windu was so strict to him. You gotta remember, Mace Windu did not like Qui-Gon.
Mace Windu thought he was the chosen one.
No, Mace Windu always doubted it.
Or no, Mace Windu thought himself he was the chosen one.
Oh yeah, I get the Mace Windu was very strict to Anakin because he needed more like Qui-Gon approach and a Yoda approach.
Yeah.
I feel like Mace has a lot of issues, and like I don't think Mace is a bad guy. It's just like he has a lot of issues in terms of his people skills. But that's off topic. In terms of the Obi-Wan, this kind of like seeing Leia, Alderaan, really, really interesting. I kind of suspicious that something bad was gonna happen when she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna run off again." I'm like, "Okay, something bad's gonna happen."
But that's what I was trying to. When I was watching the episode, I was like, "So how does this connect, though? I don't want two different stories." And then, when that happens, it's like, oh, okay. Because the only one that would be able to help is Obi-Wan, I guess.
Yeah, and it's like I like the fact that Bale still was able to turn to him. It's like he's the only one who can do it.
And I
And it's
like their
just
back and forth where he's like, she's just as important as the sun and all that.
she is.
Oh,
I feel
definitely.
like I feel like after obviously in the original trilogy, it wasn't till Return of the Jedi where we found out that she's actually Luke's sister and she actually has a
Yeah.
potential. But I feel like Disney can now play on that because obviously
Yeah.
A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back didn't have any of that context. Whereas now we know I feel like Star Wars is now focusing on Leia's strength in the Force and the fact that she is, she is Anakin's daughter. So yeah, I hope I don't want her to use the Force at all in this, if that makes sense. I just wanted to, because if she uses it, then it'd be kind of like weird
Yeah.
if she does. So I don't want it to like do some sort of like I don't know Force thing, and I don't want Obi-Wan to like, oh, maybe I'll train you or something. I don't want any of that. I don't think they will do that. I don't think they're gonna do that. But I just don't. I don't want that. I like Leia being strong, and I like Leia being a strong person. I just don't need the Force stuff at this stage of her life.
It will be too much.
So Obi-Wan, goes on this mission and then, rescues Leia, or at least tries to rescue Leia, and then we find out it was that Inquisitor that did all this. What did we think at the end of Episode 1, how they revealed how Obi-Wan found out that Anakin is alive? And not only alive, he is Darth Vader, the leader of the Empire.
That's
Little
the
interjection.
I gotta say
Little
that's the end of the second episode.
Is it?
Yeah, I was a little interjection. Yeah, that's the end of episode 2.
Because they both
kinda
dropped the
together.
same day. I combined them.
Yeah, one big episode.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Episode 2 is
Let's go into episode 2 because we kind of
is Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan arrives to that weird libertarian planets where you can get everything you need and no one can hear you. Like,
when the Inquisitors shut down like the transports and that, I was like, man, the customer service at that like airline is pissed right now.
Oh god. Yeah, they must have had lots of issues. But yeah, I like how it looks like a mid-rim planet, so people kind of go there to make their shady business, but still
it's the layover planet.
It's still legal, so it's not a proper shithole. it's like mid. Yeah, it was a really interesting planet to visit, and just the aesthetic is really, really reminiscent of a show that George Lucas wanted to do with Star Wars, and
Wonderworld, 13.
Yeah, and they actually
still on IMDb.
They actually shot it like a preview for it, and it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think it's the test preview where they would just show where it was like the company was trying to show off. So I don't think it was even an official like product. Like, no one from Lucasfilm actually wrote it. It was just like them selling the idea, like selling that they could do the CGI. That's where that preview came from. And yeah, it does look very similar. They kind of went for that. Probably their old 1313 scrapbook, but it was a good planet. It's always good to get these kind of cool planets.
Makes the universe feel bigger, and yeah, I was scared we were gonna stay on Tatooine, and that's not the case, thank God.
I thought
Mando's missing his planets. Sorry, my thing was a bit out of sync.
What were you saying?
Okay, no, it was back. It was just it was like you guys are quiet still, man. It's okay. I was trying to say it's cool to see a planet like this because Mandalorian, and Book of Boba, other than obviously that really cool Halo ring and Star Wars thing we saw, I feel like they've been missing these kind of cool planets in a way.
So much desert planets lately.
Yeah, I mean, we won't go into episode 3 just yet. It's literally just California, but
what did we think of the fake Jedi on that city?
Interesting.
It was very. I loved it. I loved it.
That was a fun bit.
That some people would take advantage of the Jedi popularity to just. I am Jedi.
He still helped them. He was still helping
I
people.
mean, yeah,
He's just trying to make a bit of money out of it.
exactly. He's just trying to.
Hey,
Make
he's got to eat too.
yeah, he's gonna make some
Uh,
credits. Really emotional when we saw a clone veteran
Oh,
begging
did
for
not
money.
See that coming.
Yeah.
Did not see that coming.
That it hard. Especially, I saw a lot of comments on social media about veterans really relating to that scene,
Yeah.
and it makes sense because Cody in the Clone Wars show, or it's Rex, yeah, it's Cody.
Well-
He says, "I wonder what's gonna happen to us after the war."
Especially after the Bad Batch, where spoilers for the Bad Batch, where we see like Kamino get destroyed and all that. Like we're really learning about the clones absolutely just getting like just disrespected
Yeah.
in the middle of this era.
And my main complaint about the prequels is that they didn't focus enough on the clones.
Well, you got the Clone Wars
Yeah,
show.
thanks to that. But if we're speaking about the movies, there's
Yeah.
Cody, but there's no moment where the clones show individuality, and obviously they work with that on the Clone Wars series, and because they're really important, I think, to the whole
Yeah.
prequel. They're the reason the Jedi died. They're the reason they're engineered to die by a republic that's somehow good. It's such a moral compass problem that I love it. I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I had the sneaky suspicion the clone was gonna figure it out. It was Obi-Wan. It would expose his cover, but it didn't, and that was good to see because that would have been too cliche in a sense to add tension to the scene. Like, oh, he'd be like, "I know you," and that would have been really awkward. And that's good. It's
Yeah.
good that it wasn't. It was also good that it wasn't Cody because that would have been just too jarring. Like, out of all the places in the universe, Cody and Obi-Wan would meet again like that. I'm hoping we see Cody maybe as a because apparently some clones. I mean, a lot of clones are in the training facilities where training stormtroopers. I imagine obviously some that didn't end up like him, homeless on a planet somewhere. It was just cool to see. It was small. It was minor, but maybe he'll get his own show. He'll get his own Disney Plus show.
So now later he rescued Leia. The
Breaking Bad scene.
the Inquisitors fight. There's a bounty for Kenobi's head. I love that they just have a PNG photo of Obi-Wan ready to go.
Maybe they had to edit that to make it, or like it's computer generated, but
They have a guy like remotely at the Empire that just does Photoshop for them. He works remotely at like the Death Star and's like
He's
making all these
literally the grand
PNGs for
intern.
Jedis.
He's literally the grand intern. The grand intern.
amazing. Yeah, and I really enjoyed the bounty hunter chase. Just Reva wanting to cause chaos. She doesn't care if the Empire gets Obi-Wan. She wants to get him first. So
Yeah, to talk about her character real quick. She's badass. Like she really is.
Oh, I really like her.
Yeah, she's probably my favorite antagonist in Star Wars since I like Moff Gideon, but like we've seen a lot of characters like Moff Gideon. We've never seen like usually the Inquisitors we saw in Rebels were like they were like intimidating, but more like in an elegant way, kind of like Count Dooku was.
no.
But she's just like aggressive. Like I'm gonna cut this bitch's hand off. Like holy shit. She's awesome. Like she's becoming one of my favorite antagonists.
Yeah, I was a bit scared about it at first because I was like, she's too edgy, but I've kind of warmed up to that because that's interesting to make the show go. And also,
I think it makes sense for them to be that aggressive though, because
there's
we'll say they were force sensitive people like picked up. They're not getting trained properly. They're way too much on the dark side. Like it makes sense that like they would be like this like I guess I'm trying to think of a better word than edgy, but yeah, like just very like unhinged.
they're Sithlings, so
Yeah.
like they same as the old Sith. When you have a lot of dark side force users, they always fight each other. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
They want too much. Their emotions take all over the place. They fight, and
Yeah.
I love seeing that into the Inquisitorius. Some of them understand that they have to like collaborate, but some of them just want power, and
Mhm.
it's nice to see, and it makes sense to why that's my theory, and I think it's makes sense that the Emperor and Vader actually slaughtered them all before Episode 4.
Mm.
It's as we know about the dark side. It is just everyone, even though people will work together for a common goal, they always betray each other or seek power, whereas Jedi don't.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
like these, we see it in the Inquisitors. It's like, you know, you have the fifth brother saying that's my seat and all this. I wish he'd become a
Yeah.
bit more of a character in a sense. He's a bit. I thought, oh, he was never. He was barely used in Rebels. I thought, okay, here's his
Yeah.
chance because he comes in Rebels and he's like, oh, is he the new Inquisitor? Is he the main Inquisitor now? It's like, no, he got sidelined to the Seventh Sister, and I feel like they just. I thought, oh, maybe Kenobi will give him a bit more alongside the third sister, but I feel like he's been a bit underused. But I guess that's what his character probably is. He's just an enforcement of the Inquisitor. But yeah, Obi-Wan escapes. He's using a gun very more.
Yeah.
Doesn't even use his lightsaber at all. He
So
barely uses it.
uncivilized.
Yeah,
But that's what he is right now.
Yeah,
That's what he
Jedi
is right now.
Jedi with a blaster is powerful.
So now I could say it.
Go
so
ahead.
she reveals that Anakin Skywalker is alive, Darth Vader, leader of
Ooh,
the
yeah.
Empire. I thought the way they did this reveal was a lot better than the novelization, which I believe Perkin, correct me if I'm wrong, you just heard it at like the cantina.
Yeah, he is he just sees Vader on the news or something, and it's so
Yeah.
weird. Strange. Why is Vader on the news? He's not really a major public figure. Why is he just on the news? No, it's stupid, and I think that's the worst thing about that book. It is that that should be more gravitas and
Yeah.
like I'm someone who's a fan of them not giving gravitas to sometimes major things, but when it comes to this core
Yeah.
relationship between
It's one
two
of-
people we saw for years, yeah, it's got to be gravitas. It's got to be as hard hitting as it can.
Yeah. Especially like in his eyes he failed. And he didn't know he failed for 10 years.
I failed you, Anakin. I failed you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those words lingered with him. They linger with him.
Yeah.
What he said. He literally last time all he knew is he failed and had to kill his brother. You know, someone who he failed to bring up. He was
It
his
was
master.
it was the hardest thing he ever had to do, and now he just learned that he didn't even do it.
No, he didn't.
All he did was make him suffer more.
Yeah. Yeah.
He made him worse.
Yeah.
He made Vader worse, and that leads into the next episode where
It was such a
we
good
see
ending, such a
Vader.
good transition into episode 3.
The
We see
makeup is
Vader.
amazing on Vader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel like they need
They-
to do like in Empire Strikes Back. You see, like he's way more damaged in his Simpsons like skin. But I'm glad they able to put more of a Hayden, recognizable Hayden face because I think that's important to me. We need
Yeah,
to see
definitely.
Hayden in there because he is a major actor. He's given a second chance.
He's
He's
a-
loved now.
He's a great body actor. He's a great
Since-
body actor
oh.
for Vader. Like
Since Revenge of the
Yes.
Sith, he was so vocal about where he's like, I need to be in the suit. And now he's doing that again for Kenobi, which, I mean, that's awesome. Like, to be that selfless as an actor, he cares about way more about the character than his own screen time, which I really admire.
He's it's like Pilot said, he is a very good physical actor and he wants to be in the suit, and it's like perfect. Putting Hayden
Yeah.
in the Vader suit is just he was in it for like a total of like a minute in Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
and now he actually gets to do. It's like that's just it's he was moving perfectly. The hands, you know, when he was striking. Spoilers: he was killing a bunch of people in that town, and that's Obi-Wan's fault. To a point, he didn't do the job, and Anakin was still sensitive in that end point of Revenge of the Sith, even though he was
Yeah.
gone. He wasn't fully gone until Obi-Wan didn't kill him. I feel like the series is going to lean in on this idea that Obi-Wan, and even Obi-Wan is to sort of blame for Anakin's sort of Anakin needed Qui-Gon. Let's not rush around the bush. It's all been said. Even
Yeah.
Dave Filoni said Anakin needed Qui-Gon, and it was a fail of the Jedi. And even Obi-Wan, he turned out to just not get the love and nurture he needed. And I get the feeling we're going to have that, where I feel like Obi-Wan might even... I don't know what Obi-Wan's going to do in their last confrontation, but in this one, he wasn't even saying a word to Anakin nearly at all. He just wasn't saying anything. He was so shocked, and that's good. I didn't want them wisecracking at this point. Like, you know, imagine if he came in and he goes, "What's up?" You know, what's up?
What's up, Darth?
What's up,
No,
Darth?
no jokes, no Marvel jokes on that show. Thank God, thank God for that. Oh
Even,
my God.
Yeah, like it's paced really well. Like it's not like a depressing show either. Like it's just it's a sci-fi adventure. Like you're just following this character.
Follow me.
And especially yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like so in episode 3 we see Vader, which was cool to see the castle on Mustafar again and all that.
The Inquisitorious kind of bait, you know, from Force, from the Fallen Order. We get to see the always cool to get that referenced.
I like the whole bait and switch where they're Obi-Wan and Leia are on that cart, and then Obi-Wan sees the Empire sign.
Yes.
Where they're trying to get off. That whole sequence was really tense.
I don't want to make things... I'm not going to be political here. I'm not going to be political. It is just kind of a nod, sort of, I think... you gotta remember, the Empire symbol is, like, probably a symbol, like, supporting the Nazis. It'd be like getting into a car of a Nazi supporter, so it's very...
Yeah.
He's shocked and awkward. It is awkward and he's shocked, and he's, you know... Very interesting side character. I feel like these new Star Wars shows get really interesting small little side characters that become fan favorites. Whether you hate them so much or you find their personalities funny.
Well, you think about it too. The Empire is huge at this point. Like we're talking 10 years later. It's gonna just have normal people that like all they know is the Empire. Like they don't. There's probably a lot of people because of the propaganda in that have no idea that a rebellion even exists.
Yeah, and
it's just how it is.
I like it how, because in the movies sometimes it just shows that the Empire bad and the Empire.
That was my issue with the sequel trilogy. Yeah. I'm like, why is the Resistance and the First Order fighting? What is the conflict here?
Yeah, there's nobody likes the First Order. Just they're terrorists. But the Empire, for the core worlds, they bring lots of riches. People got really wealthy in the core. Because they were exploiting the mid and outer rim, and that's the point of it. If
the outer rim believed that wealth would come to them, they believed it would come to them one day, and it just doesn't.
Exactly. The Empire's just taking, but they're still giving back a portion of that wealth to governors, to rich people, to make them feel like, oh, we're protected, oh, we're wealthy, and we're gonna enforce the Empire's power because we gain power as well with them.
Pilot literally explaining Andor right there. But I feel like the direction Disney's been going with the Empire has been really, really interesting, because in the Legends there was so many different reasons behind the Empire. Apparently the Yuuzhan Vong was known, and they were building an empire to protect themselves from it. But a lot of it was, you know, a lot of people just want power. It's that simple. People like talking. People like, you know, it's just this idea of power. And we're seeing all these outer rim people. It's like they believe a fraction that can come to them, so they're obviously going to be quite supportive Empire. Maybe to this, you know, to one of the galaxy, all they knew was the Clone Wars as well, and now they got peace from an Empire. They're going to be very open to that. It was interesting to see Stormtroopers a little bit humanized. We see Obi-Wan slips the kind of new Padme, explains to Leia. He name slips Leia as well when he's like, oh, no, I was done naming my wife and all this. And interesting, we're seeing Obi-Wan losing that negotiator. You know, he was the negotiator. He was, you know, very good with his words. And we're seeing him even slip up at what he's good at, which is, you know, blending in. He feels so lost. I get the feeling that this episode definitely put this idea of him being lost in himself. And I get the feeling the next episode we're going to see him build back up again. Like he's going to get some sort of training montage where he's getting better again.
It feels like a one last ride type of adventure we're going on to I hope what we're getting with like the next Indiana Jones movie. Not to go too off topic, but I hope whoever's writing the Indiana Jones movie is seeing how Lucasfilm is doing Kenobi right now. They're like, hey, maybe I should do something like that. This is how you treat like a legacy character.
Yeah, he's just worn out. He's done. He just wants to go back to Tatooine, and he's there for Leia. And it just seems like everything else is just he doesn't know how to deal with it. Yeah, this was a man who could take on entire battalions of battle droids like it was nothing. And you put in that context, it's like it's also interesting about his hesitation with his lightsaber.
Yeah. Well, we talk about the clones being war veterans. So is Obi-Wan.
He is a war veteran.
He's holding the lightsaber there, like trying to it's like trying to remember something like you used to do like every day. And he's got some natural abilities, but it's not all there yet because it's been so long.
The stance he does when he ignites it first.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the stance he got from episode 1 when he's fighting the droidekas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
The so the good segue. So like they get away from the stormtroopers, him knocking out that droid. Said the droid sent a signal. It got the Empire down there, and we're getting a confrontation between Vader and Obi-Wan. It's only episode 3, and we're getting a confrontation. But that was wild to me.
But before that, we got a shot again at Vader's castle.
Yeah,
and that was pretty funny. Fortress Vader, just seeing the throne room, made it on all that smooth rock and the detail. It's really Mustafarian. I really enjoyed that part, and just
he has his little throne.
Him being Toriva, like, if you want the position of Grand Inquisitor, you'll have to prove it to me, and if you fail, you will die.
Yeah, I like that he's making the Inquisitors butt heads. It's a very Emperor thing to do, very Sith thing to do.
Yeah. So like, at the end of the day, they're just tools for him.
Because maybe he's looking after an apprentice for his own. So
maybe a Galen Merrick.
Yeah, Galen Merrick. I don't know.
Wait, kid, what's your name again? Galen. Event literally end credits. That's gonna be the end of the series. Confirmed.
Oh no.
We haven't seen Kitster yet, which is kind of a sad thing. We haven't seen Kitster. That was promised to us, and we never saw him.
Oh,
Kitster is in the last Darth Vader comic, along with that Rhodian friend of his, and it's like right before episode 6, and he realized that they've both become slave liberator.
Oh my god.
And he's like, shit, maybe I need to do some good, and he's going after some corrupt governor, and it's kind of like Darth Vader realizing he still has some good, and he can still do some good in the galaxy.
Yeah.
So it's good to see. It's good to see a new character. I forgot a name. Sorry, I only watched the episode once. I'm one of those. I'm bad with names. But I know the character.
I forget her name too. But
it's just one of those. There's a lot of Star Wars characters. You just forget names of Star Wars. That's the issue.
So many characters.
She's great. She's great. She's there saying, you know what, I was once part of the Empire. I was once doing something I hated, and now I'm making a difference. I feel like that's
we did get a Voss reference.
Queen Voss as well.
Our boy.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna show up. I feel like
I wish he's everywhere.
No, I get the feeling Disney want a Jedi to do their own sort of show with. I think Disney want to do a Jedi show, and I get the feeling, oh, why not bring Quinlan Voss back, get him known to the wider public, use Kenobi, and then instantly, oh, by the way, we're doing a Quinlan Voss show with him going around the galaxy, helping people. That'd be perfect. I'd be down for that.
I mean,
Quinlan Voss is one of his characters. He's so likable.
Mm-hmm.
He's likable and makes sense because his whole job during the Jedi era was to blend in and to be like undercover. So he's a pro. He's a pro doing that. That's his thing. He's even in episode 1 hiding on Tatooine on a shot. I mean, Quinlan has always been here, and yeah, bringing him back would be amazing. And yeah, go ahead.
Um, I lost what I was gonna say.
I think Leia was at first a little bit awkward in a sense, but I think that's the thing with all child actors. You have to get used to them. But I feel like she's really going into the like people keep saying, "Oh, the Princess Leia show." It's not that. It's a shared cast. You know, they are for a young actress. She's got a big responsibility. She's the second lead character now. That's such a huge thing for. She's so young. I think she's only like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like she's up there with Ewan in terms of acting. She's managing to stay on his level, and that's remarkable. Maybe she's not the best actress, but she's only 10, and it's incredible how their relationship is. I feel like it does make it a bit awkward where she's like, "Oh, you know, you fought with my father. I'm her daughter." That's a bit awkward in The New Hope, and it's like, "I know they've actually." But I let that slide if they can handle the rest of the New Hope-ish kind of thing, like this idea of you know, Obi-Wan and Anakin. Last time I saw you, you know, I was alert.
But I mean, it kind of makes sense though for Leia in A New Hope to contact Kenobi more, because she's like, "This is a man I know I could trust. He saved my life."
And she doesn't call him Ben. She calls him Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that's true too.
True.
Yeah. The years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. That's weird, but well, I guess it is Bale's message though. Because we see it in Rogue One that Bale sends it to Leia to send it to Obi-Wan.
It was one. I get the feeling it's one of those. Let's tell an important story. It doesn't matter if it's awkward. If it's awkward in canon, like it doesn't affect canon badly. It's just awkward.
No. Yeah.
So I think it was the idea of let's tell. Yeah.
Canon was already awkward because we had Obi-Wan calling Vader Darth in A New Hope, and like that whole sequence will always be awkward to me, no matter what they do.
Master of Evil, Darth.
Like, I feel like we're gonna get a throwaway line in the last episode of like Obi-Wan going like, "I will no longer call you Anakin" or something. We're gonna get something like that to try to fix it.
Yeah. Then again, it's one of those, like, in A New Hope, it's like he already knew Anakin was Vader just by seeing the suit. So I feel like this kind of helps us portray that now.
That's true.
Yeah, and the whole... I think it doesn't fuck up with canon as much as we think, because even in Episode 6, Luke is like, "You're still good in you." And Vader says, "Obi-Wan wants tough, so..."
Oh... Oh yeah, you're right.
And because Obi-Wan is pretty strict till the end that there's no hope left in Anakin.
Anakin was starting to go bad and seduced, and Obi-Wan still had a chance. You know, there's still good in him. But obviously, we saw in Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan instantly thought he was gone the second he saw dead young Quincy.
Well, before that, when Anakin was like with the Chancellor, Mace Windu's like, "I don't trust him," and Obi-Wan still had hope throughout most of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little bit.
Yeah. But
it's interesting because they dropped a novel, and I'm not going to go off too much, but they dropped a novel called Brotherhood, and it's about Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship now that Anakin's just become a Jedi. It's a post-Attack of the Clones sequel. I recommend it.
Yeah.
Dex is in it. We have more Dex in it. But after they dropped this at the perfect time, because then I was watching this episode, I was going through this book, and it's like in this book, Anakin thinks the world of Obi-Wan. I mean, it's like instantly, it's like he's trying to murder Obi-Wan in this. He's like trying to torture him. And I want the series to go in a direction of, I want Obi-Wan to see, I don't know, there's two ways they can end it. They can either end it with Obi-Wan seeing some sort of good in him still, or he's lost complete hope that Anakin is in there at all. So I don't know how they're going to go with that.
I think to me, it would make sense canon-wise if Vader thinks he killed Obi-Wan, because why would he not constantly be going after him if he didn't think that?
Yeah, he probably thinks he did.
Yeah.
That's good. That'd be good. If they do a duel on Mustafar again, maybe, I don't know, that'd be an interesting way to go around it. Like, he found the lava somehow.
So what do you think about the duel in Episode 3? I mean, of Kenobi.
It was cool. It was just cool to see those characters fight again. Especially Vader. Like Vader, we saw the little snippet in Rogue One that everyone says is great, and it is it's great, it's well made, but we didn't see him like do a lightsaber fight, and I thought it was very cinematic. It was like, there was a lot of points where the show felt like a movie, but that just felt like a movie. Like, I felt like I should have been in a theater watching this.
Yeah,
It was.
I have a bit of issue
Sorry,
with the quarry just being
Mhm.
a regular mining place. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, it just looks like a place on Earth, but I can pass over that.
Even Star Wars has a budget. That's the thing. Even
Yeah.
Star Wars has a budget.
Yo, especially when you cast Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
You gotta save a few bucks somewhere, and
Mhm.
that's
I
what
think-
they did. But it wasn't too much overwhelming.
It was meant to be. I think it was meant to be an awkward, quick fight. It's not the final fight.
It's not.
We've been promised
Yeah,
this kind of
definitely
big
not.
final fight. This was just meant to be an awkward snippet of showing that Obi-Wan is really not good with his lightsaber because he's not believing in it. He's not trusting in the Force. He's not, as Qui-Gon said, trusting his
He looks
instinct.
so timid.
He
like,
looks-
Yes.
in that scene.
He looks
He looks
terrified.
frightened. Yeah,
He looks.
I love
Vader-
that.
he-
Like
Vader's
Vader,
just-
they're treating Vader like a slasher villain. I think it's great.
yes.
He's
That's
gonna.
what Vader is in the expanded material.
Yeah, he's gonna have to take over his fear in order to
Yes.
Yeah.
fight him, because that's just not working right now. And like you said, a slasher villain, the brutality of Vader in this. I never thought Disney was gonna go that far of showing him choking a child to death, snapping his neck, and burning Obi-Wan, making him feel the same way as he does. Doing the same thing as he did to him all those years ago.
Yeah.
Perfect revenge. What a nice way to end the episode. I think the fire exploding and him just standing there was a bit silly. I mean, he could have just fucking grabbed him with the Force and bring him in.
I get the strange feeling he was thinking. He was like, I don't know. I get the feeling that because we saw him seeing Obi-Wan being kind of like the fire, and we saw. I get the feeling that a bit of Anakin was there still, just a little bit, just that little bit. Because remember, Vader always has a part of Anakin in him. It's just that it took Luke to bring it out of him.
Yeah, and I'm sure Vader doesn't like fire, so maybe he was scared in a way. But
I hope like in the Rebels where when Ahsoka knocked off Vader's mask and we heard the bit of Anakin's voice and every spoilers for Rebels and I want something like
Yeah.
that for
With Hayden
Kenobi. Yeah, like we can hear Hayden's voice like a little bit.
mixed with James Earl Jones. Oh, that'd be
Mhm.
perfect.
That-
that'd be
be
beautiful.
that'd be perfect. And
Mhm.
people were. I saw a live stream of some sort, and where they were telling why didn't Vader just kill Obi-Wan on the spot. Like, no, the Emperor would never allow him to do that. He would be
Yeah.
absolutely furious if Vader didn't take the chance to investigate Obi-Wan and to see what he's hiding, and maybe he's hiding other Jedi, maybe like
Yeah.
Yoda.
we're talking about the Jedi Master, the last
Yeah.
guy who has any link with Master Yoda, and the Emperor must be terrified of Yoda just hiding somewhere, maybe training Jedi in secret.
Yeah.
So yeah, killing Obi-Wan just makes absolutely no sense without interrogating him thoroughly. So that I'm not mad with that ending. I'm happy with it. I was satisfied. It was a nice fight. I was jumping on my seat the whole time. It was I was happy. It was a lot of emotion.
Yeah, it wasn't
I
about the
think-
combat itself, it was more about the story.
Emotion.
Yeah. This show is also so fast paced. Like that was my biggest
yeah.
issue in Mando. Like there was so many just episodes where I'm just like like especially when you try like re-binging it and not watching it week by week, it's kind of a tough show to binge. And Kenobi, I think it's gonna be like a clean binge. I'll be able to rewatch this like whenever if
Yeah.
it keeps
Yeah.
the pace that it's going.
There's no filler. It's a
Yeah.
very short series, but it focuses on what's important. And I like that format really much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're close to an hour, so we're gonna go with predictions because obviously we are doing a two-part podcast. first part for the first 3 episodes, the second one for the last 3. So I want predictions for what's coming up next. What do you guys think?
Crazy Mace Windu Perkin.
We're gonna get Dax going. Leave him alone, and he just Rogue 2. This is Rogue 2. It's Watto, Dax, Kits.
The whole
Well,
team.
I did see the show got renewed for a season 2, which was very surprising.
Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
No, Hewins hinted at it more episodes. He's hinted a little bit. I think he said, maybe
Okay.
10 episodes, whatever.
I thought
He
there
says,
was an
thank you
actual
very much.
report.
Hope you enjoy episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think he was like. Apparently, it's unknown. I think they're going to do a second season because of how popular it is. I think the second season is going to play more on the Tatooine aspect that people expected the show to go in. So I get the feeling the next season will be more Tatooine-y.
I think if we get a season 2, that's when we'll get wacky stuff like a Mace Windu, like a Cody. My predictions for the rest of the season. I think it is very possible, and it would lean in. I think we're gonna get more flashback stuff. Like I think we're gonna actually have Anakin Skywalker, the Jedi, and I also think the Inquisitor, the sister, I think will actually turn. I think we might see her side with Obi-Wan after all.
Yeah,
this.
Reva's gonna turn to the light side. I'm pretty sure of it momentarily. I would love to see them fight the Grand Inquisitor against Third Sister, get a big fight between the two. That would be great. She's not surviving Kenobi.
Probably not. No.
She's dying. I'm not sure about a season 2. I'm not sure I want a season 2. I'm fine
I don't
with
know.
it.
I don't.
Oh, true.
I'm fine
I don't
with
know.
it.
It all depends how this one ends. Like, I don't know. If I feel totally satisfied at the end of this, I won't want a season 2. But if they hint something really cool, maybe I will be open to it. I mean, it's 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, so we got a 10-year gap here. They could do whatever they want. Really, this era is kind of wide open.
I think my semi-predictions are going to be that Obi-Wan's going to help her come back. I feel like it's going to be Obi-Wan's big revelation of becoming that Jedi again, being steadfast on the idea that they're still good in the galaxy.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to probably try and convert her back. There's going to be a scene where maybe she's relieving all this anger and aggression, and he's like, I feel the same. But Obi-Wan's never, ever, even though he's lost his way, he's never given into that pain and hatred to the dark side. So I feel like he's going to give her a lesson, and I feel like she's going to be the reason why he gets away again. She's going to lead to him getting away because she's been trying to get him throughout the entire season, trying to get him. Ends up her helping him get away. That would be a nice little twist.
I don't think they'll ever do this, but maybe the reason why the show is like moving so quickly. What if there's just a whole episode that's a flashback?
Oh.
What if we just get a entire prequel era episode?
I'm not sure they're gonna go that far, but that'd be funny.
Next episode when Obi-Wan knocked out, he's like sort of knocked out and he's having a dream of the prequel.
How crazy would that be?
That.
I mean,
yes. Yes.
I just can't wait to hear Qui-Gon, what he has to say to Kenobi, just helping him.
That's gonna be last episode. That's gonna be the last episode.
Oh yeah,
probably.
They're definitely building up. And I don't know. Liam Neeson also keeps saying he wouldn't come back unless it's a feature film.
They can
yeah, but that's a red herring now. That's a red herring.
Yeah,
he's just doing that so it takes attention off him.
Subverting expectations.
Every actor has a price, and Disney are like, yeah, we need you back, dude. I mean, he did the Clone Wars. He come back for the bloody Clone Wars, just do a voice, so he will come back. I mean, all they have to do is green screen him, so he can just do it in his backyard with a green screen and his old robes from Phantom Menace that he can piss his pants.
Like what Zack Snyder did for the Green Lantern photo.
Maybe it's just gonna be his voice, I think, and I'll be happy with that as well.
I think my overall thought on the series so far, I'm just not the biggest. I think the direction's a little bit like, I feel like the story's good, the characters are good. I feel like the overall camera angles, the direction, a directiness. think it's a little lacking. There's
Yeah.
just no camera work. Like I feel like the good thing about Mando is you can see there's a lot of good when they have the guest directors and they do guest. I feel like they
Yeah.
should have given this show to some sort of major, TV director who could have like brought. I don't know. It's like when you think like I love Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's like I'm thinking when I'm because I've obviously been watching Better Call Saul alongside or at least just before it, and that showed the camera angles.
It's amazing,
All
yeah.
it sticks in your head, and I want that in Star Wars. I want this kind of show it's got the movie budget in terms of special effects, but I just feel like the camera work can just be a bit more inspired. That probably sounds pretentious, but a lot
No,
of people probably
No.
don't care.
it's
That's
right.
good.
It's right.
Obi-Wan. I want.
And
I want
I noticed
visuals.
they did some NL shot for the fight, and the thing about the
A
OG
little bit fanish.
the OG trilogy is that it's really a lot of time on a tripod because it's grounded. It's
Yeah.
stable. You need to see the whole action. Kind of missing that with that, but yeah, you're right. It's Better Call Saul. I'm watching it as well right now. I think it's a really good example of how to make scenes interesting with camera movements. And it does everything. Keeps the show fresh, keeps the show interesting to watch. It's an important part of making videography. Just portraying emotion with the shots you're gonna show to the public.
And that's just my biggest shame with the series. It just feels a little bit too like they just got like it does just feel like it's got the budget for CGI. The costumes are great, but it's like it still feels like a fan film in a sense because it's just the way it's shot just seems a bit uninspired. But then again, maybe I don't know. I just wish Disney with these shows would go for more like. I don't know, try and get a big name TV director behind. I don't know who's even directing Kenobi.
Deborah
I
Chow?
think so far Deborah Chow's directed all three. I don't know if that'll be the.
Didn't he do that like one weird fight in not weird fight? Didn't he do the Boba Fett episode in Mandalorian? With the
Who did?
Didn't him not direct the
Deborah
showrunner
Chow.
director who's done these episodes?
Oh,
didn't
Deborah
he
Chow.
do? Didn't he do the?
I
She.
think
Oh, she. Sorry, that was someone else. I'm sorry.
I think
sorry.
she did an episode. No, I don't. Yeah, I think this
She
is
did.
her first.
No,
Oh,
she did some episode for Mendo
Book
and
of
Book
Boba?
of Boba.
No, okay. Overall with the show, I'm like satisfied. Like it's kind of everything I
Oh yeah.
wanted. Like I feel like content with Star Wars. I feel like I never am content with Star Wars. I'm usually wanting more, or I don't like it. So I'm glad I'm content for once with Star Wars.
I mean, we were all kind of feeling Star Wars burnout a bit after
Yeah.
the sequels ended, and it's kind of like this has come in again and made people, I think, a bit more appreciative. And it's not just this idea of it's all because it's the prequels and the prequels are better and everyone likes it. I don't think it's that. I think it's just the fact that
It's just
Mando
something we
gave me
all
the
wanted to
feeling.
see.
Mando gave me the Star Wars
Yeah.
feeling. Book of Boba was a bit so-so. It's good. I like a bit about it, but it was kind of that fatigue of
Book of
this
Boba
is-
Fett was the nice appetizer to the main course, which is Kenobi
Yes.
this year.
Yes.
Like it's still a
Yeah,
little fun little Star Wars quest, but we were all ready for the actual main event.
Like Solo before this last Solo came after the Last Jedi, so Solo before
Yeah.
Skywalker.
Solo
I'm not
should have
making
came
stuff-
out before the Last Jedi.
Solo should have been a TV show. It would have been so much. It would have done
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
like, better ratings. Sorry, just want more Solo. I'm hoping the series crosses over with Solo. I want to see a Solo character be mentioned or brought up maybe in the second season.
That'd
I
be
just
cool.
want Solo. I want Rogue One and Solo to be.
We see
not-
Enfy
maybe-
Nest.
I want Rogue One less so because Rogue One got mentioned in everything when it was coming out. Like everything was mentioning Rogue One, like Battlefront, and we had Rebels had an episode with
Saw Gerrera,
Rogue
yeah.
One. So I feel like I just want these more references again. Like
Yeah.
I just want Solo to be acknowledged more. But sorry, off topic with that. I feel like Kenobi is good so far. I'm hoping the next few episodes. It's good and I like it. I just hope the next few episodes really wow. Now these next few episodes have to wow people because I feel like this is kind of the make or break point now. We've had the first kind of interaction between. This is the make or break now for the show. If they don't stick to this landing, I feel like people are going to be angry. because it would have been like, okay, what was the point in doing this if it didn't stick?
Yeah.
But I've got trust it will stick. Ewan wouldn't. I don't think Ewan McGregor would have even come on set if he didn't have trust
Yeah.
on this. I don't think he would have come
I mean,
back.
Ewan mentioned they've rewritten that script so many times, and a lot of people would think that's a bad thing, but to me, in a situation like this, they know how important this character is to a lot of people and how anticipated this show is. So I'm glad they didn't rush it out.
I think it was, it was like you got Ewan, why not bring Aiden back as well? And this is that.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be even the last chance they get to play in Star Wars media,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I want it to be a bang.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Amazing.
But yeah.
Okay,
Overall.
last question.
Oh,
last question
no,
to
yeah, you go ahead.
close up this show. You think we will see Maul in this season?
No.
So interesting that Perkin brought up Solo, though. You could have somebody from Crimson Dawn, and that's the connection to Maul. I don't know if we'll actually see Maul, but we might get a Maul reference with a Crimson Dawn member, like a Kira or a just somebody else from Crimson Dawn. Can't think of anyone else's names at the moment, but Kira.
Yeah, Kira.
Emilia Clarke is a huge actress, though. Like, she would need to be like an actual character in season 2.
I get the feeling that Obi-Wan would just be like, God's sake, why can't I kill it? Why can't I kill these Sith Lords?
Too angry to die.
They just, but no,
Obi-Wan never finishes the job.
I don't think we'll hear of more. I get the feeling we'll get probably a mention of him. Maybe he will tell someone like, oh, this is all like, I don't know. I feel like Obi-Wan's going to mention more. I just feel like they're going to kind of stick away from it and keep more in the animated world. Like, I don't think they want to touch on it because I feel like they're like, okay, we're done with Maul now in a sense. I feel like Maul's story's over. Obviously they could always do more with Maul. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to mention more. But I do think we're going to get a bit of a flashback. I believe what we're going to get that flashback, and we're going to see Ewan. I feel like we're going to see Hayden in their prime fighting the Clone Wars. We're going to get a bit of a time skip, and we're going to see some probably scenes in Revenge of the Sith. Some, I don't know, like just newer scenes basically, but during that time, like new scenes that we've known, probably I don't know, maybe another them chatting. When they're on that craft and they're landing on Coruscant, and he's like, "Oh, that business on Cato Memoria." Maybe they had a conversation before they landed, and they could just show that, and that'd be so nostalgic for people. Just that's lighting and Coruscant and them in that ship, and it's like just them maybe having a quite casual chat about what just happened. Well, I don't know. I just feel...
In Rebels, when Maul saw through the Sith holocron Kenobi, and he freaked out, and he's like, he's still alive. There must have been some kind of interaction where Maul thought he was dead.
Oh, do you think we'll get that in other Star Wars material though? Maybe a more.
It might be a spin-off, but now there's a season 2, so potentially a season 2. So maybe we will see Maul.
True.
Yeah.
Maul's entire plan was just to find out if Kenobi was still bloody live.
Yeah.
Apparently, because that's why he was on the Sith planet for the Sith holocron. So maybe Maul will be hunting Obi-Wan, and he just keeps evading him.
Yeah. The only issue is Maul can't find him on Tatooine. It would have to be while Obi-Wan's on another planet.
He just can't kill those damn Sith Lords. They refuse to die. Alright, well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today for that podcast. It was really fun.
A lovely chat.
Yeah, so I'm your host, Ben, or people call me the pilot sometime, and I will let my friends present themselves. Josh, why don't you go ahead?
Josh-Mace, whatever you want to call me. Thank you guys for listening, watching, however you are viewing this show. I'm excited to talk more about Kenobi in the future and more content in the future. If you guys really like this, we'll make more. We'll do more. Another happy podcast could be, we could talk about anything.
Perkin?
I'm Perkin-Grievio, the British, as I'm usually called. Yeah, I'm looking forward to more. We're gonna reconvene when this is all finished. when Kenobi's all done, we'll probably get some sort of hint what maybe a season 2 we're going to, and we'll do sort of a season 2 maybe prediction episode more when we actually get more context if there is going to be one. We'll just see how the ending goes. It's amazing me that I can't predict how the ending's going now.
Yeah,
usually
I literally
a lot of
don't know where it's
material,
going.
I know. Yeah, a lot of Star Wars material I usually know. With this, all I know is it's going to be a final fight. Is it going to be bad? It's those two angles they can go with it, and it's interesting. It's Star. This is what George. It feels a bit like George Lucas made this in a way.
Yes,
that makes sense because you never knew where Star Wars was going with George in a sense.
I'm sure he was on set and stuff. I'm sure he had some opinions in the making of it.
we gotta
you put a CGI alien.
we gotta make it work here with poetry. It needs to rhyme more.
Listen, Jar Jar can fit in this. He's the key.
This is the key to all. You finally get Darth Jar Jar.
God, what if Jar Jar actually does show up and he's the mediator between the two of them? Oh no. No, let's get the show over before I go into these fan theories.
Alright, well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you for your next episode of the last 3 Kenobi episodes. Bye-bye!
See you later, guys. Bye-bye.